a quick little tune in and work with some breathing, because after yesterday, my breathing is just, it's up here. It's not going anywhere else. And I can feel it. And I can feel how that breathing style just keeps me also, keeps my emotions also up here. And of course, when our emotions are up here, it means it can't bring itself into our heart space, can't bring itself into our gut, doing things that feel good and that are right, because you just know. When my breathing is up here, meaning it's up in my upper lungs, I'm breathing quite shallow. I'm not taking those breaths. I'm all up in my head, and the head energy or the head emotions are much more. This is a perspective, is much more, agitated and not able to feel like you're in a safe space. You feel much more kind of on the verge of fight, flight, or flee, or even freeze. And so, yeah, breathing feels like a really good thing for today. So, that being said, let's get our hands going. Just going to take a moment. Get some energy here. Getting into a comfortable space, laying down, or if you feel like sitting up, crisscrossing the legs, or having the legs in split leg or straight out in front of you. We're going to open the hands. We're just going to allow those hands to rest on our body in some way. It can rest on your abdomen, your knees, maybe even be placed on the floor. And the very first thing that I encourage you to just witness is just notice where your breathing is kind of finding its dominant inhale and exhale. So trying not to change it. It is sometimes a really nice tune in just to notice where the actual breath is in that moment. And then again, as soon as you notice, you will also, or I find it quite funny, as soon as I notice things in my body, then my body starts to shift and change it. Almost like it intuitively knows, oh, thank goodness you noticed this was happening, because I didn't want to be holding that, but we've been holding that for a long time. So again, as soon as you notice things, it will automatically start to shift, and that's okay too. That's a positive. But it's also, however, it's also a really lovely just piece to be noticing, okay, yeah, there's that upper lung breathing, that doesn't necessarily work for me. It's not allowing me to get the amount of oxygen that not only my brain needs, but my entire body needs for hormonal health, for my physical health in general. It's lacking, and when my body is lacking oxygen, everything else just tends to not be able to function at its optimal level. So now I'm beginning to consciously draw that breath, and as I inhale, I bring it down, and I not only bring it into my tummy, I'm actually bringing it right into my root structure, so into that lowest part of my chakra center. So I'm visualizing it coming all the way down into that root, and I'm, for myself, visualizing this bright burgundy kind of color of red. And that red is kind of almost grounding itself into, that space where I'm sitting. It's grounding itself and drawing itself down and into kind of, I almost visualize kind of brown, kind of really thin roots connecting my physical form, but connecting me into the rooted structure of the earth. And again, wherever you're sitting and whatever you're sitting, that visualization of just bringing that breath so deep down into yourself, and then allowing it to continue down even further, breathing into and kind of allowing. Again, there's an allowing of this visualization. That's the root structure is connecting me into the ground beneath me, so I can visualize it connecting into the earth or into just, the center of something that feels really solid, really, it's building that foundation of safety and security. I tend to, when I'm working on really expanding my breathing, I tend to also really focus on a full exhale. So I'll exhale, I'll hold with that exhale a little bit, which I'm doing right now, and then I'll exhale just a little bit more. And that automatically creates this vacuum that needs to be filled. And on that next inhale, it just really expands and takes in that oxygen in a slightly different way. So see if that resonates and see if you can practice that a couple of times.